Senator Tom Cotton, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee with me now. And Senator, thank you for your time and for being here today. The report says 400 surface-to-surface missiles, so Russia's going to get more artillery, and the amount of drones that Iran has supplied to is rather phenomenal. You voted against the bill from about a week ago. That does not necessarily mean you are against sending aid to Ukraine. If you know the help that Putin is getting now, how can Washington do a workaround to make sure that Ukraine doesn't lose more territory in that war now?
Well, Bill, what I want to do is make sure that we're helping not just Ukraine, but Israel in its war against Hamas, Taiwan defend itself from China, and, of course, protecting our own border. The Senate bill didn't protect our border. It also included, in my opinion, too much non-defense aid, things like humanitarian aid going to Gaza, which means it just reinforces Hamas's position there. But it's not just the aid we provide to our friends as well. It's the actions we take against our enemies. And look at this latest report where Iran is providing 400 ballistic missiles to Russia.
Yeah.
Compare that to where Iran was at the end of the Trump administration. It barely had enough cash to pay for food and medicine, and now it can apparently afford not just to manufacture 400 ballistic missiles, but to manufacture so many of them, it can send 400 to Russia, along with thousands of one-way attack drones as well. These things are happening because of Joe Biden's weak policy towards Iran. In his very first days in office, he tried to re-enter the nuclear agreement with Iran. He has given them billions of dollars in sanctions relief. To this day, he's not enforcing sanctions against their oil exports. He even allowed restrictions and controls on Iran's import and export of weapons to expire last October after Iran's proxy Hamas invaded and viciously killed more than 1,000 Jews in Israel.
Is there a workaround? The bill's not there. It doesn't have the support. Is there a workaround from Washington?
Well, first, I hope the House will take up our bill and alter and improve it by including genuine border security reforms to it, things like stopping Biden's abuses of parole and asylum processes, and removing some of that non-defense aid so we can focus on providing the military aid that our allies and partners truly need. In the meantime, the Biden administration should also take the steps to begin the seizure of more than $300 billion of Russian assets held in the United States and Europe. Most of that is in Europe, but I doubt any European nation will move forward until the United States provides them with the leadership. That money is being right now perceived as set aside for reconstruction Ukraine. There won't be a Ukraine to reconstruct, though, unless Biden stops his policy of pussyfooting around and not providing Ukraine the aid when it needs it, or taking the steps that are necessary, like seizing those assets. I mean, they haven't been providing long-range attack missiles to Ukraine for months that could be holding at risk Russian arms depots or bases in places like Crimea or in the Russian-occupied territory in Ukraine, specifically because they were hoping by restraining our arms deployments to Ukraine, Iran might not deliver arms to Russia. Well, look how foolish that is now.
Let me just motor through this. I'm out of time here, but I want to get to it. Saturday is the 2-year anniversary of the war. Brett made the long trip to the front lines there in Ukraine. Here was Zelensky just yesterday as we aired it.
We have to be more quick. That means to lose all the bureaucracy what we have. Otherwise, we will not have any chance. So to be smart technology, more technologically, and of course, quick. It's not money, it's people lives.
Yeah. Says time is money. In our case, it's not money, it's people's lives. Just a quick comment on that. You can see more of that later tonight with Brett at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, what's happened over the last 2 years is tragic in Ukraine. It happened in part because President Biden projected weakness towards Russia from the very beginning and didn't deter Russia's invasion, and then for 2 years didn't get Ukraine the aid it needed when it needs it. What I hope we can do is provide Ukraine that aid while also protecting our own border and ensuring that we're not wasting money in places like Gaza that will benefit Hamas.
Wow. Senator, thank you for your time. There's a lot to get to, and I appreciate you coming on today. Tom Cotton from Arkansas. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill.